only that hadith in, it's in, oops, in, where is it? Hello. Okay, where is it here? Try and find it in the hadith. Here it is. So basically, Abu Zara', so he's nice to me, does this, right? And he says, بجحني فبجحت or بجحت إلي نفسي. Right? So there's all these things. Okay, I was poor, he made me wealthy, he did this, he did this, he did this. But this is this real, this one, and there's another thing as well. There's this phrase here is like basically he was not he was nice to me and made me feel nice about myself, you know, as opposed to, oh my God, you're such a woman, you know? Ha, stupid woman. Always inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a very nice thing to say anybody, is it, right? Like nobody likes to be corrected and nobody likes to find their faults. As opposed to you're looking always finding the best in other people in general, right? You always find the best in other people in general, and you find what is good about your wife and is good about the akhlaq, and you make her feel good about herself. So then she has a willingness to be more good, as opposed to let's talk again as we spoke last week about your behavior. One, two, three, four, five. We know Muslim women are not supposed to do this. Muslim women are not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be respectful. Da 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 da. So she basically had this whole list of all these criticisms and all the bad things they have. And you honestly also feel just like unimpressed. You know what I'm saying? Because one of these problems is for religious men is you read hadiths about religious women and then you don't find them, like because it's kind of like that kind of doesn't exist, you know, like what you imagined kind of doesn't exist, you know. Just like Superman doesn't exist, right? So she grew up with Superman, like there's actually no Superman, you know. And if Superman were alive, he'd probably be dead. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go around doing crazy stuff like that, or superheroes or action heroes that they're not real, right? So it's a real disappointment for a woman. Like, oh, you know, he's supposed to do this. I'm supposed to feel like this, and it's like Where in reality, it is a bit like Shrek, right? Like for a woman, it's like, oh, he's not that amazing, and it's not all that good, and there's just a lot of pain in the process. But look, we can work it out together, you know. Um, Shrek is awesome, right? Fantastic film. Uh, anyway, so here, like, he made me feel good about myself, right? This is good management, right? Those of you in management, like, how do you get the best out of people? Praise them, really impressed, you're doing really well, great, constructive criticism that's said. Um, it's that what? No, it's probably the donkey from Shrek. Um, Anyway, so I'm trying to say that's one is basically looking for the good in people, focusing on the good in people, making them feel good and not making them feel bad, you know, as opposed to, look, these are your faults, right? So most people have huge nufus, and in general, women have huge nufus, and they cannot take correction and they cannot take criticism. And usually it's probably because it's coming from the wrong place, right? So you finding faults in other people and not focusing on their pros is a huge problem, right? It's a huge problem. As opposed to focusing on their pros, there are lots of really good things about most people, right? If you are actually positive, there are lots of really good things about most people. And if you focus on the good things about most people, they do become better. And if you focus on the bad things about most people, they do become worse. And you're trying to correct is not useful, right? That's one. The other one's somewhere else. Where was it? Like, فعنده أنطق ولا أقبح. Where was it? Here. فعنده أقول ولا أقبح. Like I can speak and I'm not deemed ugly. Like non-judgmental, you know? That's really important. Like you feel like I'm always going to be judged by him. He's always judging me. Whenever I say something, he's like, well, that's not very Islamic, actually. You know? I say something and it's like, well, actually, we should do this. Like, stop correcting. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop correcting. Just like listen. Just listen to yeah, right? Or stop getting offended, right? So it's the right of a woman to be offended for no reason, and it's the right of a woman to be to not be found offensive. If that makes sense, right? Like that's a one of these key things for like something like is that you're bigger than being offended, jet most of the time, right? Obviously, there's sometimes like there's a limit, bro, but like can just say stuff and it's cool. And it doesn't have to, if it doesn't she doesn't feel like she's all like, oh, have I offended him? Is it this? Is it that? It's like she feels relaxed, you know. Um, SubhanAllah, there's like many things we learn from like haram scenes, right? So if you think about, classic scene is like the woman's heartbroken. She says, "That's it. I'm going to go to some bar somewhere," and then she just finds this guy who can just like she can just speak her mind, and she like there's no takalluf. She's a bit drunk, he's a bit drunk, and like there's no takalluf. Like she feels connected to him because he's not trying to sleep with her. She's not trying to sleep with him. There's no judgment. There's no this. He can just speak, right? And then what happens in the film is they end up sleeping together because she feel comfortable, if that makes sense, right? But like that process of like, hey, I just broke down some barriers and just talk, it's cool, right? Don't worry about it. And there's no standard that she's always trying to has to keep keep up to or anything, or like how she always has to look and how she always has to speak and how she always has to behave. Like nobody likes that, and that you don't feel that's not love. You don't feel loved. You just feel like it's annoying. You feel like continually tense. Right? Does that make sense? And obviously, that should be on both sides, but that's not always the case. Does that make sense, guys? So for me, those two things they stood out a lot to me. Wallahu a'lam. Not that I know anything. May Allah forgive me. Um, okay. So let's continue. Okay, so we were talking about we were here. So we're talking about this, I believe we're here. So it says حدثنا محمد بن عثمان الوراق. So there's two words. I'm not sure what the term means at this stage in history, but later on there's this word al-warraq and al-kutubi. They're not the same. Al-kutubi is somebody who works with books, right? And so that's a kind of like it's not real Arabic. You don't say kutubi, you say kitabi, right? The ism mansub is mansub to a word that is um mansub to the singular, not to the plural. But anyway, so kutubi, the one who buys and sells books and knows what he's buying and selling, as opposed to a warraq. This is just the paper maker, right? From the word warraq. قال حدثنا أبو أسامة وحدثنا الأشج قال حدثنا عقبة قال حدثنا عبيد الله قال حدثني نافع عن ابن عمر عن أن العباس بن عبد المطلب استأذن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يبيت بمكة ليالي منى من أجل سقايته فأذن له. الحديث للأشج, right? الحديث للأشج. That's the version that we're mentioning here is Ashaj's version. So here is siqaya, the responsibility of giving water to the Hujjaj. So that implies that he is not doing Mina at all, right? And al-Abbas استأذن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يبيت بمكة ليالي منى من أجل سقايته فأذن له. Right. So where is this hadith found? 497, 496. Aha. So there it is. So could somebody have a look in Fath al-Bari for this? Because that sounds a little bit odd, doesn't it? It sounds that staying the night in Mina, on the nights of Mina, are not necessary because you've got to give people water. So it doesn't really sound like a pressing need. I think other people could do it. Is that not the case? So Musa or Ammar, could you have a look there? Fath al-Bari. So if you just look in من أجل سقايته الحج لسقايته. See what comes up there. So in general, in the Shafi school, we say the excuses from spending the night in Mina or Muzdalifah are the same as the excuses of Jum'ah. So something pressing, basically. Something pretty serious. حدثنا عبد الله بن هاشم قال حدثنا يحيى بن سعيد القطان عن عبيد الله أخبرني نافع عن ابن عمر قال صليت مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بمنى ركعتين ومع أبي بكر ركعتين ومع عمر ركعتين ومع عثمان ركعتين صدرا من إمارته ثم أتمها عثمان. So the issue here is Mina part of Mecca? The answer is no. Then the second question is, are you a traveler at Mina then? How does it work? Okay, so in the Shafi school, we have this issue. Number one, in the Shafi school, remaining in a place or intending to remain in a place for 4 days, makes you a muqim. So if you came to Mecca and you arrived and stayed for 4 days, or you arrived with the intention to stay for 4 days, then you are now a muqim. So now when you go to Mina, you can neither join nor shorten. But for example, if you are leaving Mecca and going to Medina, right? Then you have now left Mecca. You are now a musafir, right? And so if you are leaving, that's totally different. So if you're gonna do go so right, then you're considered a musafir. So there's various different scenarios where you could still be a musafir. Right, go ahead, Ammar.
Now, how are you a musafir if presumably you're going to come back for Tawaf al-Ifadah?
Tawaf al-Ifadah, good question. You mean here with Mina there you would be with Tawaf al-Bada', you mean?
Oh, I was thinking of joining, so Arafah, but yeah.
Yeah, so but anyway, so if you arrive, so the practical scenario in the Shafi school would be that you arrive in Mecca 2 days early. That's it, 3 days early. Khalas. So then when you go out to Arafah, you're not intending to stay there in Mecca. So you're gonna go out to Arafah. You're still a traveler, and then you come back for a day, and then you go back, and you come back to do So you're not staying. But otherwise, if you came early. If you came like a week early and you're in Mecca, then khalas, in all of those places you're now the reference point now is Mecca, and none of these places are traveling distance, and so you cannot neither join nor shorten. So that's what you'd imagine here.
Unless you were to like skip Tawaf al-Wada' and go straight from Mina to Medina or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So here you can imagine Sayyidina Uthman. It might be to do with wait, Sayyidina Uthman, did he move somewhere? Did he move to Mecca? I don't think so. Right. So how did it change? Wallahu alam. Um, but here, generally, talking during time of the Prophet ﷺ, everybody is coming from they're coming from Medina to Mecca, right? So they're all kind of travelers there. Wallahu alam. Did you manage to find anything, Ammar, for the first part about Ibn Ab the hadith above?
There's this, which is interesting,
Okay.
different wording.
ضغط قد فصل وحال بهما عند إسماعيل من طريق. Okay.
But that's just interesting because it says أيام. Uh,
Yeah, it's different أيام منها, not ليالي منها. باب هل يبيت أصحاب السقاية أو غيرهم بمكة ليالي منى. Okay, it mentions ليالي منى. So it mentions Okay, let's have a look at this. Let me share this. It says قلت الظاهر أن okay, that's something else. وفي الحديث دليل على وجوب مبيت بمنى وأنه من مناسك حج لأن التعبير برخصة يقتضي أن مقابلها عزيمة وأن الإذن وقع للعلة مذكورة وإذا لم توجد أو ما في معناه لم يحصل إذن وبالوجوب قال الجمهور وفي قول للشافعي ورواية عن أحمد وهو مذهب الحنفية أنه السنة ووجوب الدم بتركه مبني على هذا الخلاف ولا يحصل المبيت إلا بمعظم الليل وهل يختص الإذن بالسقاية بالعباس أو بغير ذلك من الأوصاف المعتبرة في هذا وقيل يختص الحكم بالعباس وهو جمود وقيل يدخل معه آله وقيل قومه وهم بنو هاشم وقيل كل من احتاج إلى السقاية فله ذلك ثم قيل أيضا يختص الحكم بسقاية العباس حتى لو عملت سقاية لغيرهم. So this is سقاية means not سقي. It's not giving water. It is the honor and official role of giving water to the Hujjaj. ومنهم من عممه وهو الصحيح في الموضعين والعلة في ذلك إعداد الماء للشاربين وهل يختص ذلك بالماء أو يلتحق به ما في معناه من أكل وشرب كل محل احتمال وجزم الشافعية بإلحاق من له مال يخاف ضياعه أو أمر يخاف فوته أو مريض يتعاهده من أهل السقاية كما جزم. So the issue is they're looking at it they're looking at it um, as a difficulty. That's what it is. Like I have I've got a sick person at home, I've got something like that. So that's how they're looking at it. So like it's a practical necessity as opposed to a political necessity. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I was thinking about it. It's like, oh, it's like I have to be there just to stand there like a wedding or something. So not really. So the issue is I need to prepare the water, organize the water, organize the distribution, organize the how the well is being used or something like that, right? People need the help, basically. There's people who are coming and they need the help. Wallahu alam. So it's still mundarij, it's still part of the same general picture that the Shafi is looking at. Wallahu alam. But then, وهو مذهب الحنفية that is sunnah, خلاص, proof of the Hanafis is just sunnah, right? So it's a sunnah, and so therefore it's left for some reason, right? جزاكم خير. So this is in meme as well, 497. 497, this is in Bukhari Muslim as well. Let's have a look here. ومع عثمان صدرا من إمارته. وصدرا. Says in Sahih Muslim, I can't find it. Cannot find this in Sahih Muslim. Says صليت بمنى ركعتين. Let's have a look at this. Cannot see that.
There's باب وجوب المبيت من الليالي أيام التشريق والترخيص في تركه لأهل السقاية.
Yeah, not that one. There's another one. The other one is about the issue about the 2 rakahs and the 4 rakahs.
Oh, I see. My bad. عفوا.
So here it says 947, and then it says it's here. It comes in Sahih Muslim like 3 times. But I can't find it. But مع أبي بكر ركعتين. Let's try that. I'm looking in شرح مع أبي بكر.
كتاب oh no, it's in Hajj as well, never mind. Oh no, that's Bukhari. It's in كتاب صلاة المسافرين.
صلاة المسافرين.
Yeah, it's like the second bab.
Okay, باب صلاة المسافرين. Okay. Okay, found it. Um, Here we go. وقيل لأن عثمان نوى الإقامة بمكة بعد الحج وأبطلوه بأن الإقامة بمكة حرام على المهاجر فوق 3. وقيل كان لعثمان أرض بمنن فأبطلوه بأن ذلك لا يقتضي إتمام. أن الأول ثم والصواب الأول. ثم مذهب الشافعي مالك وأبي حنيفة وأحمد وجمهور أنه يجوز القصر في كل سفر مباح وشرط بعض السلف كونه سفر خوف وبعضهم كونه سفر حج أو عمرة أو غزو وبعضهم كونه سفر طاعة. وقال الشافعي مالك وأحمد والأكثرون لا يجوز في سفر المعصية وجوزه أبو حنيفة والثوري ثم قال الشافعي ومالك وأصحابهما والليث والأوزاعي وفقهاء أصحاب الحديث وغيرهم لا يجوز القصر إلا في مسيرة مرحلتين قاصدتين وهي إلى آخره. So basically there's some other reason. Some other reason why he did that. Okay. حدثنا أبو سعيد الأشج قال حدثنا أبو خالد الأحمر عن محمد بن إسحاق. Right, this is the Muhammad ibn Ishraq and Abdul Rahman. So this is the Sheikh of Malik from Qasim ibn Muhammad from his father, Qasim ibn Muhammad from Aisha. قالت أفاض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من آخر يومه حين صلى الظهر ثم رجع فمكث بمنن with a تنوين الليالي أيام التشريق يرمي الجمرة the three إذا زالت الشمس after ظهر كل جمرة بسبع حصيات يكبر مع كل حصاة ويقف عند الأولى وعند الثانية فيطيل القيام ويتضرع ثم يرمي الثانية ولا يقف عندها. حدث محمد بن عبد الله بن عبد الحكم مالكي أخبرنا ابن وهب قال أخبرني عمرو الحارث أن قتادة بن دعامة أخبره عن أنس بن مالك حدثه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الظهر والعصر والمغرب والعشاء ورقد رقدة بالمحصب. He lay down a little bit بالمحصب in that place ثم ركب إلى البيت فطاف به. Okay, so we'll come back to this إن شاء الله. We'll now حديث number 500. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
جزاكم الله خير.
بارك فيك.